All right, fellas, welcome to the show. Chris, my man, how we doing tonight?
What's up? What's up? Happy to be here.
Brady, we doing good?
Doing outstanding. Glad to be back on.
Man, yeah, and so we got to talk about it because last time you were on the show, you came on a Monday night, and then you went out on Tuesday night, and you threw an 8-inning no-hitter with 14 Ks against Tupelo. Let's take a step back, man. I know we're talking about Arkansas baseball, but let's talk about that performance, man. How good did that feel?
Going out there originally, I did not feel all that great. I remember, I think it was in the second inning, I walked the bases loaded, and then that kind of snapped me out of it. I was like, all right, like we got to go right now. And then I struck out the side, kind of set the tone for the rest of the game.
Yeah, if you could have stayed out of if by my count, I remember, even though you had the 14 Ks, a lot of those you had a full count when you did it. You got into a lot of full counts. You walked a few batters. You actually only walked two batters. The bases loaded. You hit a guy, and that's how I remember. That's how you got in the bases loaded gym. I kind of remember it just like yesterday, even though it feels like it's been 5 years now. But yeah, man, that was an epic performance. And then for your boy Hunter Elliott on the other side, I mean, y'all put on the best high school game I think anyone's going to see in the state of Mississippi. I don't know that y'all will be outdone the way y'all two pitched against each other.
Yeah, that was electric. I would have honestly liked to be a fan watching that game.
Absolutely. We had Daniel's teammate from high school. He was there with me, and he said, "Man, I never saw anything like this when me and Daniel played." And I mean, that was just something. But let's talk about now. I was joking with you before the episode. You look like you went from 17 to 25 overnight. You're getting sleeved up with tattoos, growing the hair out. I mean, what are they doing over there at Arkansas?
Man, honestly, just teaching you how to play your own game. Be comfortable with who you are and don't have any fear. So that's what I'm doing right now.
So that man said, I'm not going to get a haircut and I'm going to get tatted up.
Well, there's a story behind the haircut. Now, I ain't nobody ever cut my hair except for my mama. And I ain't going to let nobody cut my hair except for my mama. So they come up here and she'll give me a trim when it starts looking bad. She tells me when it starts looking bad. So,
man, hey, hair flow coming through the back of the hat is the thing now. So do what you do. But
that's pretty cute, Brady. I can't wait till Tennessee gets a hold of that kind of knowledge.
Oh, hey, too early in the episode for that, Daniel. But
I'm just saying.
But I tell you, you've became a social media sensation, Brady. I don't get to see all your games, but I feel like I do because your clips are going viral now. I mean, whether it's you serious and having a serious look on your face, talking to yourself, all these different things. But I got to ask you, man, there's one where I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're mumbling, but because you're my boy, we go to church together. I said, my man's out there singing worship music, but I got to know, man, what's that conversation taking place?
I'm be real with you. I'm just saying stuff to myself at that point. Every time I go in there, I get kind of agitated just looking at the guy in the box. So I can't really say what I said because I really don't remember. Stuff just comes out.
You can't say what you said because you don't remember or because it's probably not good for this show.
No comment.
So, Chris, man, the listeners can't tell, but you got a nice little fade going on. You got any suggestions for Brady other than his mom to get his hair cut?
Yeah,
Gotta be something around Fayetteville, right?
Yeah, no, there's plenty of places. I mean, I go to Signature Fades on Dixon Street. So, Brady, if you want to hit that up, I'm probably going next week.
Nice. Y'all can go together, man. It'll be 2-for-1 deal. Come on,
yeah,
man.
literally.
All right, so Chris, let's go back to the beginning, man. Let's get some info from you. Let's know a little bit about you and kind of your journey and your story. So, where are you from and where did you grow up?
Yeah, I'm from Stoneham, Massachusetts, just 8 miles out of Boston, just north of Boston. Grew up playing hockey, baseball, football. Obviously fell in love with baseball over the other ones. Ended up going to Wake Forest University out of high school. I committed, so I got Tommy John surgery my sophomore year of high school. I was really young. I'm old now. I was really young back then when I got Tommy John, and committed
So
to.
let's go there then. I mean, you talk about getting Tommy John. Obviously, that's not something that just jumps out at you. That's kind of a injury that happens over time. But when did you first start playing any kind of sports? And was it just baseball? Like what age? Obviously, you talked about, hockey and all these things that Northeasterners do, but were
Yeah.
those sports that you played or was it just strictly baseball?
No, I mean, I was just as serious about hockey up until, early high school, maybe the end of middle school. Started playing sports, when I was really young, as we all do. I don't really remember the exact age, but yeah, I was really serious about hockey and baseball. I kind of had to decide between the two when I was, I graduated middle school and just obviously decided baseball. Ended up getting Tommy John surgery. It was, at the time I was like, oh my God, my baseball career is in jeopardy. I didn't really realize that you could come back from Tommy John surgery.
Daniel, I'm still backtracking because he said he's old now. And if he's old, what does that make us?
Shit.
Super old. So,
well, old guy for college, at least. I'll put it at that.
Hey, you spent some time, prior to where you're at now, out of school. So I can see how you feel that way. But obviously, high school was when you had to make a determining factor. You wanted to stick to baseball, but leading up to that, were there any influences or any pressure to go one way or the other? Was mom, dad, brothers, sisters, other coaches, other mentors, were they pushing you in one direction or the other, or was this solely your decision?
No, this was my decision. Honestly, I remember in 8th grade, my hockey coaches came over when I was making the decision. They came over to my house and they were like, can you just play one more year, or can you just continue playing? And I was like, no, I've kind of made up my decision. And so it was solely my decision. My parents didn't push me one way or the other. They kind of would have supported me either way. And yeah, so I chose that, and that's kind of how I got here today. But not really much else to it. I know you're looking for an interesting story, but that's kind of it.
No, I mean, obviously the interest comes later. You rated as the number 356 prospect in the nation. I mean, that's a high number, but when you think about all the prospects in the country, in the world now, that's a relatively low number when you really put it in perspective. But 356 by perfect game, 19th rated third baseman, number 5 prospect from the state of Massachusetts. And like with those accolades, at what point do you start getting interest from college? And was Wake Forest the only school, or were there multiple schools?
Yeah. So yeah, my freshman year, I started getting, calls from more local schools, BC, UMass Lowell, all these smaller schools. But after that, so my sophomore year is when I got the Tommy John surgery. So I committed literally 2 days before I got it. I knew I wasn't going to be able to play for a full year, so I wasn't going to get any more offers. I probably had, 10 or 15 schools that I was talking to, but it was such a long time ago that I can't even remember. There was a few ACC, SEC schools. Nobody really in the Big 12, but yeah, just a few ACC, SEC, and I ended up touring Wake Forest, ended up liking it, and I was in my sling from surgery 2 days prior to it, and yeah, ended up committing right in the locker room. I was like, I don't need to see any other schools. They had just built these new beautiful facilities. The coach was, the man. He was a genuine dude, and I kind of couldn't turn it down because I mean, moving forward, I'm going to be in a sling for a full year, and I was just at the place where I knew I wanted to be, and so I ended up playing there for 4 years and had a pretty good career over there, and then made my way over here. 3.5 years I played. It's the COVID year.
So did they know that you were having Tommy John, or was that something that you knew and you kind of signed and then you said, surprise?
No, I went down in my sling. They knew it and they still offered me.
Gotcha. And that's got to say a lot when they invest that kind of commitment to you, knowing that you're not going to be able to play for a little bit. So obviously that speaks to their character, but it also speaks to your character because they're committed to you, but you're also, they believe that you have the work ethic to drive and be committed to the injury process and come back, 100%, if not better. But you did mention a long career, at Wake, but I want to highlight some of, your sophomore season. You earned All-American honors. Historic season, you hit 347, 19 doubles, 16 homers, 67 RBIs, 57 games in left field. You broke the program with 10 RBIs in a game against BC. I mean, you're doing all these different things. Like when you hear somebody point those things out to you, what does that mean to you? And does it, given where you're at now in your career, do those things still matter to you, or that's kind of, history? It's in the past. It was great while it happened, but now I'm kind of focused on what's happening now.
Yeah, I mean, of course it matters. I mean, I worked so hard and I did those things. I'm proud of those things. But at the same time, it's like, can I repeat that? I need to, be able to stick to the consistency that I was hoping to have after that year. And, baseball in my life has been so up and down. Like, I've gone through so much of my life, and baseball has always been kind of there for kind of the thing that's been there for me consistently. So I'm really definitely proud of those things, but I'm always looking to turn to the game and to improve those. And as I said, stay consistent with that.
When we talk about consistency, I hear you say that word a lot, but I mean, when I look at the overall gamut of performance at Wake Forest, man, I just want you to, because I don't know if anybody's ever done this. Maybe they have, but I think it's important for you to reflect on what I'm about to say. 170 games, 166 starts. That's a guy who came off injury, who's only missed starting 4 games his entire career there. That's unbelievable. You hit 298, 195 hits, 147 RBIs, 42 dingers, 46 doubles, 76 walks. I mean, the list of accolades goes on, man. Like, you had such a successful career at Wake Forest. So how does it go from that to now I'm going to Arkansas?
I didn't get any offers to play pro ball. So, I put my name in the transfer portal, and I said, if Mississippi State or Arkansas hits me up, I'm going there. Arkansas was the first one. And it was I wanted to play for Dave Van Horn. The guy's a legend. So I said, if they were definitely my number one, but in the country, no matter what, I was committed to Arkansas off the bat if that happened.
Normally I'd tell you made the wrong choice, but looking how Mississippi State season's going, good choice.
Literally, yeah. Imagine that. No, I wanted to play in like a cool atmosphere. That's something we had a lot of talent at Wake. We had a lot of good players. It wasn't the fan support who does have the fan support that Arkansas has or Mississippi State has? And I wanted to experience that. And I wasn't going to get that anywhere else. So that's just something that's pretty cool. But I didn't get any free agent offers or anything. So I needed to go to school if I wanted to keep playing baseball.
Daniel, it sounds just like RJ Yeager, doesn't it? Coming from wanted to go to a big time program, winning program, fan support, all that.
Hey, Chris, I got to ask you something real quick. Is it like a culture shock though, coming obviously from Massachusetts, then to Wake and then to Arkansas? Is there like a culture shock, big difference? Obviously there's a big difference, but talk about that for you.
Yeah. Going down to Wake, so that's in North Carolina. That's pretty it's not the South to you guys, but it's the South to me. So
oh, for sure it is to you.
Yeah, but that was definitely a little bit different. But I had a few friends from Massachusetts that went to Wake with me, so it was kind of like I wasn't the only one going through it, so we kind of just went through it together, and it wasn't too bad. But coming to Arkansas, nobody in my family has even thought about coming to Arkansas, so it's like I'm the first one, and I didn't know what I was going to expect. And
When you talk in Fayetteville, Arkansas, everybody turns and looks, right?
yeah, I mean, my dad and my uncle come down and they have way worse accents than me. Like I don't even, people up north don't think I have an accent.
Oh, you're a Southerner now.
Yeah, I'm a Southerner. Yeah, but they speak a different, like my dad and my uncle coming down this past weekend, they speak a different language than the people down here, and they were giving it to them.
I make fun of the accent every day if that helps.
Yeah.
So now, Chris, do you think that, not playing at Arkansas or SEC, I mean, obviously Wake Forest is no slouch, like, but do you think that had you been at Arkansas and had the numbers that you had, do you think that you would have been drafted?
I have no idea, and I don't like to think back on things like that. I don't like to regret anything, so I'm just kind of living in the present and dealing with what I can control right now. Because I mean, there were so many. I was so disappointed in not being. I mean, I was drafted my sophomore year. I was sophomore eligible. Could have obviously went earlier than I did, but I turned down some money and ended up being going in one of the last rounds. So it wasn't even like an actual draft pick. It was just kind of like a courtesy thing. Looking back then just makes me upset, and it's kind of not a healthy thing to do. So as I said, I just try to control what I can control in the future and in the present. So yeah, I don't really look back too much.
Well, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, Jim, Randy, or myself never got a courtesy pick. So the only courtesy we might get is in pickup basketball or something.
Hey,
That's if we're like the last ones left.
Yeah, that's a sympathy pick in my opinion. So
yeah,
man, don't make sure you credit yourself, man. That's hard work, and not everybody can say anything like that. So, man, my hats off to you, dude. Being able to go from Mass, go down to North Carolina at Wake, do your thing, be committed to the process, and still, know that you got some work to do, and then you put it all out there again. You go to Arkansas, and then you guys are here, and we're going to get into that in a little bit, but I want to switch gears and talk a little bit to you, Brady. And the last time we talked, it was prior to Arkansas, and there was a lot of excitement. There's a lot of maybe not fear, but maybe there's a lot of unknown of what's to happen or what you're going to be getting into. We talked a lot about your velo fastball. Anybody who watches you, that was the top of conversation, upper 90s fastball. But for you, what do you think has been working? Like, what arsenal of pitches? Is it the fastball? Is it the velo? Or is it something totally different that now that you're at Arkansas with your coaches there, that you're really digging into?
Honestly, it's something different from what I thought in high school. I thought high school I was going to have to be coming up here blowing people away with 100 mile an hour, have the best breaking ball ever, and change up. But honestly, just from my experience so far, as long as you mix your pitches in the strike zone, the hitters get themselves out. I think that's the big thing that I've really had. That 3 pitches plus, if you're throwing all those for strikes consistently and just constantly mixing, it makes it a whole lot easier on you.
You're working towards the best breaking ball ever, just to be clear.
Yeah, I credit to Coach Hobbs on that one. He helped out a lot.
Did you ever think that coming into the season that the role that you would have would be closer?
Not in I came up here, I had a really, really bad fall. My first and only outing of the fall, I threw like 20 pitches, I think like 6 strikes, didn't get a single out, and I fractured my elbow. I got a hairline fracture in my elbow during that outing, and then I was canned. I was done. We got put in a sling, had to get PRP shot in my arm to help it heal. Didn't have another outing all fall. So at that point, I was like, good Lord, please don't let them, like cut me. That's honestly what was going through. I was like that, or maybe I can take a red shirt and try again next year. Then I came back this spring, just honestly hoping to get any innings. Like I was going to be perfectly happy just being a midweek guy throwing in those games. And I didn't get playing time like at the start of the year, and we would do live at bats in the indoor and the Fowler, and out of nowhere, I just started throwing really, really good in those. Coach Hobbs worked with me on cleaning up my mechanics a little bit, stuff like that, and I think that kind of took me to the next level because he was like, Coach Hobbs said, you threw like somebody who really, really wants to pitch. I was like, yeah, I absolutely do. So the first opportunity I got was against Omaha in our midweek game. Don't remember much of that. Pretty much blacked out. Kind of a shock to my system going out there in front of all those fans on the big stage, and kind of proved that I wasn't scared of it. I wanted to be on the mound at Baum Stadium, and ever since then, just kept going out and doing what I can, having good outings, and now I'm the closer for Arkansas. So it's absolutely not at all where I thought I would be, but God's plan over mine. So I'm excited for where I am.
So when you're in a sling in the fall, what was the message that the coaches were telling you? Were they, let's wait and see, or were they supportive, or were they kind of cold? What were you getting from them as far as feedback?
Oh no, all the coaches were still very, very supportive. They made sure that I never lost confidence in myself, and I think that helped me out a lot. Yeah, they were very supportive of me and kept talking about the future, that I'm going to be a dude here in this pitching rotation this year. I just got to get healthy. So I think that really helped me out a lot.
So you take all that, you get, the opportunity in the spring to show what you got. You go out, like you said, against Omaha, you do your thing. Obviously you're moving to the closer role, but like, what is the mentality now that you're the closer? Is it any different than what it would be if you were a starter or a relief guy? Like, what is your mentality when you go out there and go, all right, like, this past weekend, the game, winning and losing, rests on your shoulders. What is that mentality, and what does that feel like? Is that something you embrace, or is that something that's like, this scares the shit out of me?
Yeah, taking it back a little bit, like I honestly didn't have a mentality when I was pitching until I got to Arkansas. High school, I kind of just threw and let my stuff beat guys because at that point it could. Obviously, you can't do that in the SEC. And then I started getting to get in the game late in the game, shutting it down, and my mentality just kind of changed to don't let them get any of the momentum. Always keep the momentum in our dugout, especially in like big situations like that. Make the pitches, and I really like closing. It's really fun. You get to fire up the dugout after you get out of a big jam or something, or strike out the side. Fire up the dugout, let us go score some runs.
So with that, man, Baum Walker Stadium's probably one of the top places to play. What is it like when you go out there and like the game rests on your shoulders, and what is it like when you succeed and the game, like, it's over and people are like going crazy?
Yeah, man, when I'm out there, I want the ball in my hand. I don't want anybody else to have to come in and save me, because it is unlike anything I've ever experienced. Whenever you get out of a big situation or have a really good quick inning, the roar of the fans, something it's unforgettable. You're not gonna get that anywhere else but the SEC. So that's probably my favorite thing to do ever, to close out ball games and hear our crowd go wild.
Yeah, no doubt. So 2-1 on the season with 7 saves, a 1.3 ERA, in your 15 appearances with 37 strikeouts. We knew what you had coming. You talk about different doubts and you talk about your injury, but I remember watching you last year and I had nothing but the highest expectations of you. But I couldn't have foreseen this much success early, especially in this role that I never expected you to be in. And so, you kind of touched on it with Daniel, but you've changed roles or whatever, but did you expect to, I mean, when I say 2-1 with 7 saves, like, did you expect that kind of success?
Not in the slightest. I don't even think my own parents expected that, honestly. I think they were just expecting me to go up here, get a little bit of experience, throw a couple innings and be good with that. I think really the only people that thought that could be a thing was Coach Hobbs. Well, he told me earlier in the year in the spring, he was like, I can see you. I'm like, I know you're not in a starting role, but I can see you pitching a lot in this rotation, especially at the end of the game. So that kind of changed my mindset a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. So, I talked about your popularity on social media, and, I hate social media for a million different reasons, but Brady, you have made it fun again. Even your dad, we talk on a regular, man. He hates social media more than I do, but man, the things that take place with you, whether we're talking about your filthy breaking balls and the pitching ninjas sharing them, the bobblehead thing that you had going the one game that they had fun with, your angry stare down that looked like you were maybe possibly going to murder the guy that you were pitching to. And then, this past weekend, you're now the governor of Mississippi. Like, I mean, for you, like, and I know you're not a big social media guy, man. You'll post things for your teammates here and there, whatever. But how much fun is it? Because I know you got to be scrolling on there and seeing all this.
Yeah, I do. But at the same time, I kind of don't like looking at it. I feel like I'm going to jinx myself if I look at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. But hey, what's up with the Bible? You talk about a lot of things are new at Arkansas that weren't last year at Lewisburg. I mean, what you got going on with that bobblehead? What's that about?
That's one of the reasons that I like closing so much is you get to get in there pissed off and throw everything 100%. And I was fuming that game against Missouri.
I got you. So, of all your performances this year, man, what would you say was your favorite?
Oh man, honestly, it's hard to decide. Definitely, Ole Miss and Mississippi State were probably the two best. I think probably Mississippi State. Striking out the side 2 innings in a row is something I've never done before, and again, the roar of the fans was absolutely insane because that was in the 9th inning too. At that point we come in, we think we're about to win the game right here. So
yeah,
it's
probably got a little extra juice beating the defending national champ like that too. So I'm sure that adds into it. But talking about the Ole Miss thing, obviously, you got SEC Freshman of the Week honors announced today. You're also on the NCBWA watch list for Stopper of the Year. So shout out to you for both of those. Even though Randy, you think he's gonna get it over your boy Redmond Walsh? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, Redmond had some rough outings, man. I'm gonna go with Brady.
Hey, he's only saying that because you're on the show, Brady. He would never say that about a Tennessee guy. He lying to you.
That's probably true.
I appreciate it anyway.
But before I let Randy talk all things Arkansas with both you boys, I talked about your 2-1 record and Brady. We have had 130 episodes, whatever. All we've ever talked about is how much we have disdain for Florida. And of all games for you to lose, you pick Florida, man. Why you do that to us, brother?
Man, the game sped me up. That bunt, I thought I had way less time than I actually had. Tried to pull a little Fernando Tatis on them, I'm not Fernando Tatis, so. But it's all right. We're gonna get them again later in the year. Hopefully in Hoover, I can get my redemption against them.
Well, they got to get there first, Brady. But we'll talk about that later in a second. Chris, I'm gonna shift over to you for just a second. I'm actually gonna get both of you, but Chris, this first one's for you. So the team, 34-10 on the season. You're top 5 in the rankings. At second in the SEC West. What's second? Is this a typo? How does the team feel about where they are?
Well, first of all, I think we're first in the SEC.
You are. You're second in the SEC. I got a typo here. I got to talk to my producer here off air.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I feel amazing about it. But the people at Arkansas, like the kids that play here and the coaches, they're so used to it that like if there was anything else, if it was anything worse than first in the West, at least. I mean, second in the whole SEC is a disappointment for them. It's kind of incredible, like how much they win around here. It's like it's a whole different attitude. Like at other colleges, it's just like kind of, we win games here and there, you're kind of content. But if it's not, it's like if you're not number one here, you're disappointed.
But in my defense, since you're going to attack the producer rating, the number one team is winning at an astronomical rate. So it's not like they're doing anything wrong, and they don't play each other, as we discussed before this episode.
No. It's all good. It's all good. Brady, obviously coming into the season, you kind of talked about it. Maybe you didn't have the expectations to perform like you have. I think that, on this show, we thought it was obviously you had it in there, and we're not as surprised to see it. But projections are, they get you get before the season comes in, you lose your Friday night starter, top 10 draft guy. Obviously, that's a blow to the stomach, right? But you guys have obviously performed. But talk to me about how you guys overcame that, not only as a team, but as a pitching staff.
Oh yeah, man. We just have so many arms that know how to win. They know how to pitch in big situations. Like for example, Connor Nolan. I mean, he is carving up people like nobody's business. So he really stepped up in that Friday night role. And then right behind him, we got a freshman, Hagen Smith, on Saturday, who's come in and absolutely blown the doors off the SEC. So we just have a bunch of guys who are mentally tough enough to handle that role, and they've been doing a really great job.
No, absolutely. What you guys have done as a staff. And I think that coming into the season, obviously you guys coming off of the success, Chris, you talked about it. If you're not number one, you're kind of a disappointment. The expectation coming in was to perform, and you guys, everything's still out in front of you, right? You don't want to be second in the SEC, but at the same time, there's nothing lost yet, because even last year, admittedly, Tennessee fan, right? And all we wanted to do was get that SEC title, right? But Arkansas gets it. But even then they said, hey, that's not enough. Winning the SEC isn't enough. So the goal is always, to bring home the trophy.
Number one has traditionally not done well. The number one overall ranked team has not done well, and usually tends to not make the Omaha. So it's not bad being number two. You know what I'm saying?
This is true. So Chris, we've had Jalen Battles on the show. Obviously he's a stud, but having him and Robert Moore in the middle infield, do you think there's, like, this is a loaded question for you, is there a better pair patrolling the middle in the country than those two?
No, I can say definitely no. They've made some plays that, like, I've seen so I play right field. I've seen Robert range to balls that I was so confident that I was just going to have to get on a knee and get in front of. Like they're something I've never seen before. It's unbelievable. I can confidently say they're the best in the country.
No, absolutely. Brady, I saw you shaking your head. You agree, right?
Absolutely, 1,000%. I've never seen anything like them up the middle. They're incredible.
Yeah, Chris talked about it being in right field, seeing it, but Brady, as a pitcher, man, how comforting is that for you, man? Knowing if a ball if they get wood on it, you're good.
It's very rewarding, because there have been many times where, they hit a pop-up or a ground ball for the last out of the inning, and I'm already walking to the dugout because I'm that confident in my fielders. I couldn't do that in high school. I kind of had to cross.
When you're singing the worship songs into your glove?
Different time, but
man, somewhere Scott Sharp just heard you, Brady. I'm just saying.
Hey, that's still my boy.
Chris, I'll go back to you for a second. What series this far has been the hardest for you guys?
In terms of what? Just
competition, or just be tough? Maybe one that you won, but maybe you're like, man, we kind of got away with one, or just whoever.
I mean, I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna have to say Texas A&M, not because of this isn't a shot at them. They have a good team, but it's not because of their team. It's because of their atmosphere was pretty rough.
Hey, you're okay. Brady's dad gave me some messages and said this is the worst environment he's been in. So you're not lying.
It truly was.
Were they talking to you as you're over there in right field?
Yeah, but that wasn't it. It was mostly the student section. It's right above it's above the section above our dugout. They have two decks, and they got loud.
Oh man.
Hey, the good news is don't feel bad about what you say. One thing we don't interview on this show is Texas A&M baseball players, so they ain't listening.
Yeah,
and
it was a good.
I said it before. There's about 7 teams that have the potential to finish in the bottom two. They're one of them. So they're not that good.
Oh man, I don't know about all that.
Randy,
Brady,
I was gonna say Randy's been picking them lately.
I have, because they just been kind of hot, man. I ain't gonna lie. Brady, for you, man, what do you think's been the hardest series? You can't say A&M now that he said it.
If I can't say A&M, shoot,
Florida.
I think no,
Not for you personally.
I can't say Florida because it wasn't like that. It's like we beat ourselves, you know. I think the toughest fought one, honestly, might have been this last Ole Miss series. Because, man, they are a much better team than their record shows. Them boys know how to swing the bat.
Yeah, no doubt. So, Brady, I'll stay with you for a second. What's been, and maybe it's the same one, what's been y'all's best series as a team so far this year?
Best series? Probably LSU, man. We were playing like a well-oiled machine. We won all 3 days. That is not an easy thing to do in the SEC, especially against a team like that with potential 3 first-round draft picks in their lineup. I was very, very proud of how we were playing. If we play like that at the end of the year, we're going to be playing for a long, long time.
Randy, they only won one game because the umpire decided to call a third strike out because the batter took long to get in the box. That's all I'm saying.
And I agree with it. You know, I agree with it. So, Chris, you agree LSU series, y'all's best series?
Yeah, I mean, we played good that series. I mean, just behind it would probably be Mississippi State. I mean, we lost that last game in the extra innings, but we played really well.
Yeah, man. I mean, Brady's now been named the governor of Mississippi after Mississippi State and Ole Miss. So, obviously, this past week, you kind of mentioned some of it. The Kendall Diggs walk-off. Let's talk about that. Nobody's mentioned it yet. But, Chris, for you, what was that like? Just the atmosphere and the games in general, but to get that at the end, man.
Oh, I mean, we needed that. We needed that win. We needed that moment. And it couldn't happen to a better guy. Kendall Diggs is the best kid. But he hadn't played in a while. So it's, as a hitter, it's just so hard to have success when you haven't had live at bats in so long. He comes in there. He hit 3 balls that game over 100 miles an hour in exit velo.
Was that good?
Yeah, 2 of them were out.
Sarcasm.
What'd you say?
I didn't know if you took him as serious or sarcasm. He was obviously being sarcastic about is that good.
I didn't even hear what he said. What'd you say?
He said, "Is that good?"
Oh yes, that's very good.
That's very. I bet you got some over 100.
Yeah, a few. But 2 of the balls were caught, and they talk about paying your taxes in baseball, and he sure did. He ended up being rewarded at the end of the game and smashed that one pretty good.
Absolutely. So Brady, obviously, you kind of talked about it. You guys, took care of Ole Miss. Now it's time to hit the road. You're playing an Auburn team that, even though they lost this past series, they've been pretty hot. I think they had won 8 in a row. They get one from Tennessee, and they were in it in Sunday against Tennessee. What's the message? What's coach's message going into this weekend?
Yeah, man. Well, they're a really good team, just like the rest of the SEC. Everybody, you got to have a certain level of respect, especially when you're going to their ballpark. But we haven't been playing the best on the road. So this is kind of a turnaround point for us, especially for our starters. This is the week where we're gonna turn it around. We're gonna go down there and kick some butt.
Absolutely, Chris. As an upperclassman, you talked about it. You're old for a college kid. You've been around the game a long time. How do you kind of help? You're kind of like a coach on the field, I'm sure. How do you help keep these younger guys focused and the goal is still not reached?
I mean, they help keep me focused. I mean, this kid's the most confident kid I've ever seen on the baseball field. So it's not age is just a number in terms of kind of our team, not in college baseball, but just with the kids on our team. I mean, these young guys have had accomplishments that I've never had. I mean, Arkansas just gets special dudes. So I wouldn't say I'm the one that keeps everybody calm, but we all play pretty well, under those harsh moments. So I wouldn't say I'm the common everybody.
Hey man, you said you were the veteran, man. I was just looking. But
one more thing. Experience, yeah. But look at this kid on the mound. I mean, he's more confident than anybody you've ever seen.
I'll tell you how Chris calms me down when he starts hitting them balls over the fence, widening that gap with the lead. That helps me out a lot as a pitcher.
I appreciate that. I'm start blushing.
Absolutely. So look, we haven't talked about my least favorite team in the SEC, but you guys got them still coming up against Vandy. You guys are at home. Anything less than a sweep, Brady, you're never coming back on the show again. I'm just saying.
It's understandable.
It's understandable. But look, before we get you out of here, Brady, you know the drill. We're going to play a little game or this or that. Chris, the rules on this are simple. I'm going to give you two options. And you cannot say neither, and you can't say both. You down?
Sounds good. I'm in.
All right, Chris, I'm going to start with you. Would you rather have no ketchup ever or no ranch? This may be a loaded question for you coming from Massachusetts. I mean, I don't even know. Do you guys eat ketchup and ranch up there?
Yeah, we're American.
Okay, good.
I think I'd rather have ranch. I think ketchup's a little overrated.
All right, Brady.
Whoa. I ain't even a fan anymore.
Brady,
Boy.
Brady,
Hey,
what
let me
about
take that
you,
back
man?
real quick.
No, you're good.
Did y'all ask me the same question? Sorry.
Yeah, Brady. No ketchup or no ranch?
No ketchup, man. You can't eat wings without your ranch. No.
This is fact. So this second question, man, it might be kind of loaded. I'm gonna start with you, Chris. The childhood cancer yellow Arkansas hat or the camouflage military appreciation hat?
Man, I feel like a sin.
I know.
Choosing the yellow one. And we're talking in terms of looks here, right?
Yeah, we're talking in terms of looks.
course.
And as a veteran in the military and somebody who's had cancer, I can put this question in the box, okay?
Yeah. So I mean, I think the camo hats definitely. I don't think the yellow hats look great. I think the cause is great. I think the cause for both of them are unbelievable. I'm choosing the camo hats though. They just look better.
No, I understand, and I agree with you, Brady. What about you?
Yeah, man, those camo hats are special, especially with the Sunday creams. They look real good.
They do indeed. Chris, would you rather be book smart or street smart?
Street smart for sure.
You sound street smart.
I appreciate
That's such a Boston answer, man.
Brady, what about you?
Street smart, man. Book smart's overrated.
All right, Chris, I'm going to judge you based on this answer to this question. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Yes or no?
No.
Absolutely not. Brady?
I got to agree with him. He's from up north. They probably eat more hot dogs than I do. So
What? Is that true? They eat more glizzies?
Or glizzies.
Hey, I'm proud that half the Tennessee players went with hot dog as a sandwich. I feel better about them Tennessee boys.
We're gonna have to run that tape back. Look, listen. Jim went down to Houston to watch that tournament, and he got some fake split in half hot dog. They put it on the buns, and now it's a sandwich. Me and DB, we're team hot dog is not a sandwich forever.
You can run the tape back. We've had about half the guests. Brooks Lee, the number one projected overall pick, said it's a sandwich. Damn it!
Isn't he from California? I don't even think that.
Yeah,
counts.
Yes, he also believes in aliens, which Daniel almost ran up a rabbit hole with him.
Yeah, we almost went way down off the rails with that dude. But look, guys, I'm still in the belief that Jim bought a chicken sandwich and a hot dog and then put the hot dog on the bun. And then he wanted to be like, oh, in Houston, they have these.
Even sent us a picture. But
I
Chris,
cheated in Houston, Daniel? Is that what you're saying? Is it only
no, they would never. It was not with a trash can.
I didn't say it. You did, but yes, that's what I believe.
All right, getting back on track here, Chris. Would you rather have a painful truth or a comforting lie?
Oh, painful truth for sure. I hate when people lie to me. I can't deal with that.
All right, Brady.
man, this is going to sound boring because I'm just agreeing with him. Yeah, absolutely a painful truth. Because at least you know what's going on then.
Yeah, just hit me with it. Bad.
Absolutely. Okay, Brady, I'm going to start with the next question. I'm going to start with you. Would you rather be the smartest person in the world or the richest person in the world?
Richest person in the world. Come on, man.
Absolutely. Chris?
You can literally take half my brain. I'll take all the money.
All right. This next question. Brady, I'm going to start with you because I don't want you just copying off of Chris here, man. And he might have answered this question or you might have been on before we even did it.
No, this is new to him.
Okay. Would you rather spend 10 years in a coma or 5 years in jail?
5 years in jail, man.
Brady, we know you, bruh. We know you, bruh.
You're a pretty dude too, man.
And do you think that your mama
Brady,
can get in there and
yeah.
cut your hair in jail?
Hey,
Brady,
man.
hey,
My mama's gonna be
ain't
a lot
nobody.
more sad if I'm in a coma than if I'm in jail. At least I can call her in jail.
Look,
True.
Ain't nobody that says they got to have their mom cut their hair every time, convincing this dude right here that you're gonna go to jail. Not happening.
I kind of like his answer though, man. He said at least he can call her. I kind of dig it, man.
Hey, and at least you're still living life. 10 years in a coma. That's just
Look,
10 years
hey,
gone.
I will say this. Look, Brady went from high school to college and got sleeved up. He's yelling in his glove. He might come out a hardened criminal, man, if he went to jail for a couple years.
He's getting there.
He's getting there. All right, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna choose jail just because, like, I feel like if I'm in a coma for 10 years, they might pull the plug. You know, I don't know if I'm gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna survive that one.
You look, we've had MMA fighters on here, and we've had all kind of people answer that question. I never believe any of them, but I think it's your Boston accent. I believe you, bro. I think that you would be in jail and be just fine.
No, I'm a good kid. I just sound like a rebel, probably.
All right, Brady, would you rather be a hero or a villain?
Villains always have the cooler costumes, so I'm going to the villain.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Chris, hero or villain?
I'm gonna be a hero because heroes attract, big fan bases, and big fan bases means, money. And I want to be.
We didn't ask the question. Obviously, I know by what you're saying that we used to ask, would it be friends or money? I'm not even going to ask you guys that because, Chris, I feel like you're picking money, man, and I dig it.
It depends on which friends you're talking about. If it's close friends, I'm choosing friends. But
the way we have framed it is the number one overall pick in the MLB draft, but you have to cut your friends loose.
No, I'm not cutting my friends loose.
Man, Brady, don't lie to me. You know you would.
No, man, I couldn't. My friends have been there for me for way too long, man.
Your mom will still be there to cut your hair. Your dad will still be there to house you. Yeah, dude.
You're known as a phony for the rest of your life, so it's like I wouldn't be able to live with that.
Yeah.
Oh man, guys, anything that y'all want to plug or promote before you guys get off here, man?
Appreciate you, Mama, for the haircuts.
Chris, anything, man?
I got nothing.
So I had a feeling Brady was gonna give a shout out to Mom for the haircut, and I figured, I would have to come up with something for you guys. So I did. If you want to know more about Brady Tygart, follow him on Instagram @_Brady Tygart _. If you want to learn a little bit more about Chris, that's on Instagram @Chris Lanz LANZ 20, or you can follow them both through Arkansas Baseball's Instagram page @Razorback BSB. Guys, Tuesday night 6:30 versus Missouri State SEC Network Plus. Friday night 7:00. You're going to number 19 Auburn. You got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday 4:30, Sunday 1:00, all on SEC Network. Guys, good luck to you. Knock it out this weekend. In the season on a high note, so we can bring you back and talk about Omaha and all that good stuff, man.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Appreciate y'all having us on, man.
Yeah, y'all have a good one.
Yeah,
Yep.
Appreciate you guys. Nice to meet y'all.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a break. We're going to plug some sponsors. When we come back, we got our boy Mike Hughes, the host of the Mike on the Mike podcast and an analyst on the All Sports, All Plays Network. And we're going to talk college baseball, NBA, you name it. We're talking about it. We're back here in a few. Don't miss it.